Hey, what's up, everybody? BroTrio here, doing a top 10 list. Finally, we're back at it, and this time we wanted to do something a little bit different than our regular top 10s. We wanted something just to stand out from the crowd, so we're doing top 10 standout levels in video games. This was a pretty difficult list to make because initially it was difficult to think of like a bunch of levels that we could put a list on. And once we got to doing it, because the way the BroTrio makes our list, we all come up with our own 15 and then we all average them to see what our actual top 10 BroTrio average is. And it got pretty difficult to rank these with any form of numerical value. It was almost like we were choosing which family member we wanted to die. It was difficult. But we did it, and we think we have a pretty solid list. So, runner-up, honorable mention, to give y'all just an idea of what exactly a standout level is that we're talking about here today, would be Batman Arkham Asylum City?
No, Arkham Asylum. It was the Scarecrow segments in Arkham Asylum. That's what we mean by a standout level.
It's completely different than anything.
Yeah, it was unexpected, completely changed the game. Not necessarily in a good way, but the good ones are what ended up on this list. Because, I mean, it can be a bad standout level, but Scarecrow was a phenomenal standout level in Arkham Asylum. And that's just the example of the direction we were going for this list. We're going to start off with Saint Denis from Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, this is where it gets a little loose on the term level, because this is an open world game, levels aren't really a thing, but it's basically just an area that stands out. And the reason Saint Denis stands out, it's like the only big city in this game, and it's gorgeous. I rode up upon it just free roaming, and it was at night with all the nightlife, walking around, going around. It was amazing to see. I was just... Right, and the cobblestone streets sounded so accurate with my horse clopping on them, and it was just such a cool vibe. And then you find a vampire there, and you can.
There's just so much to do in Saint Denis,
shitload of stuff to do.
I spent so much money at just the tailor alone.
The tailor, and there's gambling houses everywhere. There's fancy bars everywhere. There's a ton of quests and side quests there. Saint Denis is awesome, and as much as Arthur hates the civilized life, I couldn't get away from Saint Denis.
Oddly enough, this is the most painful one to me because it's number 9, and this was the inspiration for this list. But obviously, I have to talk about Donkey Kong in some aspect, and Donkey Kong Country Returns had one of the best standout levels in the franchise with the silhouette levels. You go into these and it's just beautiful. It's DK swing, just in a smooth jazz for the background music. You get everything's black, and then we get background, so all you see is Donkey Kong Diddy silhouettes against the background. It's really cool, and the only color you get is background or DK and Diddy's tie and hat, respectively.
Yeah, I knew the tie. I wasn't sure about the hat.
It's such a cool level design that it was some of the best levels in Donkey Kong Country Returns, and it came back in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, because these levels just stood out so much I could not stop staring and playing them.
Final Fantasy VII has a lot of standout levels because you've got Cosmo Canyon is cool, the slums are cool, but the most standout level in the whole game has got to be the Wall Market. It's just it's weird. You go around and it's just every other place you go, there's a purpose. You're going to Cosmo Canyon to do this, or you're going to Midgar to do this, and then the Wall Market is just hey, we need to get Tifa back. Let's sneak in. Do you think we can dress you up like a girl, Cloud?
Yeah.
And it's just well, you're a girl, Aeris, but I guess we'll do this.
It's the most off the wall reasoning to do something.
Yeah.
To get the most ridiculous means to an end that makes the Wall Market stand out so much.
Oh yeah, because that's the other thing is it's chock full of what's essentially mini games. Because it's just like, hey, if you do enough squats, I'll give you this necklace, or if you can do some push-ups, I'll give you a dress. And
stands out for a lot of the same reasons Saint Denis did, honestly.
Yeah, there's just a lot to do in such a small, compact area, and it stands out from even other parts of Midgar, because it's just like, where am I? Why is everything neon? I thought I was in the slums. Now it's this like high-class, really seedy place at the same time, and I don't know what's going on, but now Cloud's a girl, and I'm sneaking into the mansion.
And then the remake will make it stand out even more than that, because Final Fantasy VII Remake takes the existing wall market, because everything we were talking about just now was only the original one on the PlayStation 1. Now that we're talking about the remake, it's that, but dialed up to like 4K, because it's the neon lights of the slums all in your face, looking pretty and everything. There's new characters added in. You can get a hand job. You can dress like a lady and do a Dance Dance Revolution mini game.
Yeah, and like I know there's like
it's awesome.
There's a whole movie clip about it. And
the best part about it is in the remake and the original, if you do good enough in all the mini games, you can even get like Don Corneo to choose Cloud over Tifa and Aerith. Like, why? Cloud's not that pretty.
He is pretty though. I mean, Barrett went on a date with him.
One easy way to stand out in a video game is to do a complete U-turn as far as the theming of the game, because we're going to talk about Pokemon, and you already know what we're talking about, but you're playing Pokemon, it's a fun time. You're 11, you go out, you get a monster and fight other monsters, and then you get badges for it. Yeah. It's awesome. And then you go to this town, and you kill your friends, Eradicate, and then you turn into a Ghostbuster, and then there's an actual ghost, and then what the hell is happening? There's these weird, like, priestess, like,
you're just
chanter ladies that are like, I'm gonna drink your blood.
Yeah, you're getting attacked by like possessed people, and
it's Lavender Town is one of the most wildly dark and like creepy, super creepy like towns in a video game.
It's creepy before you even get to the ghost tower, because right when you walk into town, that horrifying theme song starts.
Oh yeah,
and it doesn't stop till like you leave. Even after you resolve the issues there, that's still the theme song. Yeah. Every time you go there. I don't want to go back.
One surefire way to make a level stand out is to change your perspective. Mario 3 definitely changed the perspective with Giant Land, because like you come in and you're just like, oh, this is cool, I wonder what's going to be giant, and then you enter like stage 1-1 and it's everything else but you. Like the Goombas are giant, the turtles are giant, the question blocks are giant. Like it's literally like they took Mario, shrunk him down, and we're just like, hey, try to survive. And it's just crazy. I'm surprised the Koopa Kid wasn't giant in that, honestly.
Oh, yeah, that would have been
giant
so
Koopa
cool.
Kid, giant Boom Boom, that would have been awesome.
But yeah, there's just nothing about that place feels right. You're always uncomfortable and on edge, because you never know when you come around a corner there might be a giant Boo or a Chain Chomp, or maybe the sun will get mad at you again. Like it.
Can you imagine if there was a giant sun or a Big Bertha?
Yeah, like it's honestly, I'm surprised that future Mario games have barely touched on that, because it was such a weird like paradigm shift to be like, oh, I'm small and I'm helpless. This is still Mario, right?
Keeping in line with Pokemon being suddenly scary, we're going to jump to the Shadow Temple from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And we're counting the bottom of the well with this, because like it's part of it, and holy shit, did we get into Silent Hill? What the is happening right now with like, why is the Shadow Temple in the bottom of the way it is? It's scary.
And it starts scary too, because like you go walk into Kakariko and then there's a ghost and it blows up the well, and then it's just like, go to the past and fight me, bitch.
Yeah, kicks Link's ass for a while, and then like it kicks Sheik's ass too. And then you have to, and Dead Hand looks straight out of Silent Hill or Resident Evil or some shit. Like, what why did Nintendo put
And
that?
then there's all the little hints, like Kakariko has a bloody past and stuff like that. It's just like...
It went so much darker than the rest of the game had been, and this game got pretty dark when you turned adult. Like, and Shadow Temple just took that to the entire new level. You fight, now he sounds lighthearted, but Bongo fighting him at the end, I mean, he's
a Demogorgon.
He's a big old Demogorgon, and he was an amazing boss fight, and I really liked the Shadow Temple, and it stuck with me for a lot of the right reasons, but also a lot of the wrong reasons, because when I was a kid, it was horrifying.
One of my favorite things video games do is when they mess with the interface. And Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy is one of the most interesting and out there interface changes in gaming, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like let's get Yoshi drunk.
Yeah,
that's the level.
You're playing Yoshi's Island, you're having a blast, you've already trained yourself, I'm going to eat everything in the screen.
Yeah.
And then this level pops up, and you do it, and then all of a sudden it makes that weird like noise. Like his eyes turn, or his pupils turn red, and then the whole stage just gets like lit, like it says, dizzy.
Yeah.
Yoshi's so dizzy that the land won't sit still, nothing isn't sitting still, like he can't even stand, he's like wobbling around. And
the fact that the land is like doing this through Yoshi's perspective, and it's making hills that you yourself as the player walk over is like so standout that it not only changes the gameplay but changes just traversal in general for a platform.
I used to challenge myself to try not to touch a fuzzy, like during the level. Like I would replay it and see if I could get through the whole level without touching a single fuzzy.
I used to do the opposite and touch all of them.
Yeah. Either way you do it, this level is a really fun and definitely stands out from the entire rest of the game of Yoshi's Island. And oddly enough, it has never been touched on since. I guess Nintendo got a little bit too dizzy and decided, no, I'm not doing that again.
Chrono Trigger is a game full of ups and downs, and pretty much every area is different from the last. But one that threw us off the most was the Kingdom of Zeal. It just is so different from everything else. Like, it's... Above is a paradise. They're literally like it's Elysium versus like everything else. It's just like this paradise that you start in. Everything's great. All these magic like rich people are like commoners up there. And, like there's books full of wind. They're probably eating like caviar or whatever. You find Magus as a kid there, and he tells you you're about to die. And it's just this happy like cool place. But then you get sent to the where the commoners live. And it's a horrible place to live. It's awful. They are literally slaves, and going through that, like, just their daily life is one of the more difficult parts of the game up to that point. Especially the boss that, like, I guess they guard how to get up back to the Kingdom of Zeal. Mm-hmm. But that was one of the harder bosses in the game to me, especially at first. And it's just... But it's so cool how they're so different from each other. And then... By the end of it, you bring the rich folk crashing down to the poor folk, and they end up melding pretty well because the poor folk are very nice, and not like me where I'd literally like be eating the rich. And no, it's not like that. The poor folk are just like, yeah, come on, y'all are in a bad way. We'll show you how it is to live in this horrible place. And that's Kingdom of Zeal. You take down all the rich people and kind of help the poor people, I guess. I guess they have magic now.
Standing out, you would think would mean one of a kind, one and only, that's it. But you can also stand out when you revisit something from the past, and it makes a whole difference in the game. Because the nostalgic atom bomb of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, when you go back to Shadow Moses from Metal Gear Solid 1, it starts off with the prime time nostalgia. Like, Snake is literally dreaming, and it goes all the way back to PS1 graphics, MGS1, and Snake even, like, wakes up, and he still has, like, the PlayStation face, and it is amazing. Like, you walking through the building Like, you see the bloody hallway. You can have conversations with Otacon. Otacon's like, hey, Snake, you gotta change the disc.
Hey, Snake, like, this is where I peed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can still see it. It just never dried up.
You walk past, like, all the old boss battles. You walk past, like, the hallway of blood from, what is his name? Cyborg Ninja.
Yeah.
Gray Fox.
Gray Fox.
Gray Fox just murdered everybody.
When he calls you and he's like, hey, Snake, how'd you take out that tank? I never asked you. He's like, I used grenades. And I was like, what? You're incredible.
But that would just be... Yeah, that was amazing, but that's not fully what makes this level stand out. Because what truly and ungodly makes this level stand out is the finale of it. Because not only do you go back to where you fought Liquid on Metal Gear Rex, you get to hop in that bitch and you control Metal Gear Rex and you have a mech fight, Metal Gear Rex versus Metal Gear Ray, and it is awesome. And I am just tickled pink for what our number one standout level in all of video games is, because it's big standout to me, but the fact that Aaron and Scotty, I did that backwards, the fact that y'all put it there just as high as I did, and it made it to number one, like, really makes me happy.
Like, as much as I prefer Chrono Trigger, this one stepped it up as far as, like, memorable stuff goes.
Chronopolis from Chrono Cross is huge in the standout.
An area where time just took a shit and dumped the rest of the crap from when Chrono and the gang did before that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
it's really awesome.
Just a collection of canceled timelines.
It's literally like there's a building that's just mishmashed because everything just crashed at the same time and the atoms and particles got all confused and everything. So there's like a jet engine in a building. There's like two buildings in one. And it's wildly different from the rest of the game where you're in this relatively like primitive tropical environment where like the houses are made out of like sticks and straw.
Yeah.
And then you go straight into the fucking future. And it gets even weirder once you go back to it like towards the end of the game, because Chronopolis, like, you go there, you set things right, and then you're just like, okay, Fate's a little bitch and we're gonna go kill Fate. So then Chronopolis gets all kinds of weird because then everything's like predetermined and then it's not, and it's absolutely wild. But Chronopolis stands out for the aesthetics, the nostalgia bring back that is just like, this is what was left of the future after Chrono stopped the future from happening. And then it also has like a lot of like huge super plot like importance that's happening there. I'm not going to spoil it there, but Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition, is out, so go get it and play it and see how much this level stands out to you. But we had a lot of fun making this list. It's one of the better ones that we had to get back into our top 10s and everything. We had some time off due to family issues, but the BroTrio is back, and we really like diving into this one. But obviously, there was stuff we didn't mention. Because, I mean, we were trying our asses off to think of like a standout level in Metroid. But every level stands out, so almost nothing does, because every biome is different. But let us know what your standout levels, like your favorite ones, are in all of gaming. Like, let us know about Resident Evil, Metroid, even if you can think of other stuff. Let us know about it, because we take that to heart and we'll put those games on our wish lists. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to support the BroTrio on Patreon, where you get to see all of our individual lists to see how I rank things, how Aaron ranked things, how Scotty ranked things. And be sure to stay tuned for more BroTrio.